We all know the story. Fish is good for you. Fish is heart health superfood. Omega-3s, lean protein, essential nutrients. Doctors have been telling us this for decades. But here's what those doctors don't always tell you. Not all fish are created equal. And after the age of 50, choosing the wrong fish isn't just a dietary mistake. It could be putting your heart at serious risk. Some popular fish contain hidden dangers that most people never hear about. Toxins that accumulate in your body over time. Fats that actually promote inflammation instead of reducing it. And contaminants that can interfere with your medications and stress your vital organs. Today, we're going to reveal 7 fish that we recommend avoiding after 50. We'll explain exactly why each one poses a risk. We'll share what the research shows about how these fish affect your heart. And most importantly, we'll show you which fish are truly safe and beneficial to eat instead. Stick around until the end, because the number 1 fish on our list might surprise you. It's considered a delicacy in many restaurants. But after today, you'll think twice before ordering it. Fish number 7. Tilapia. Tilapia has become incredibly popular over the last 20 years. It's affordable. It has a mild flavor that almost everyone enjoys. And it's marketed as a healthy whitefish option. But there's something important to understand about tilapia that most people don't know. To understand the concern with tilapia, you need to know about 2 types of essential fatty acids, omega-6 and omega-3. Both are important, but they need to be in balance. Too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3 creates a pro-inflammatory environment in your body. And inflammation is now understood to be a major factor in heart disease. It damages artery walls. It contributes to plaque formation. It stresses your entire cardiovascular system. Tilapia has one of the most unbalanced fatty acid profiles of any commonly eaten fish. It's very high in omega-6 and very low in omega-3. In fact, some research has suggested that tilapia's fat profile is less ideal for heart health than many other fish options. There's another concern with tilapia as well. Much of the tilapia sold in the United States is imported from other countries, where farming practices may be different from what we're used to here. Some imported fish has been flagged by inspectors for containing residues of compounds that aren't approved for use in domestic fish farming. Fish number 6, king mackerel. Number 6 is king mackerel. Now this is important to understand clearly. Not all mackerel is problematic. In fact, some types of mackerel are excellent choices for heart health. Atlantic mackerel, for example, is a completely different story. But king mackerel deserves special attention for one specific reason. King mackerel is what scientists call a predatory fish. It sits near the top of the ocean food chain. It eats smaller fish. Those smaller fish ate even smaller fish. And over the course of its life, king mackerel accumulates everything that was in all those fish it consumed. The main concern here is mercury. Mercury occurs naturally in the environment, but industrial activities have increased the amount that ends up in our oceans. When mercury gets into water, it's converted by bacteria into a form called methylmercury. This form builds up in fish. Here's how it works. Small fish absorb tiny amounts of mercury from the water and from what they eat. They're small, so they don't accumulate much. But when a larger fish eats many small fish over many years, all that mercury from all those meals adds up in the larger fish's body. King mackerel can live for 20 years or more. That's 2 decades of accumulating mercury from every fish it's ever eaten. For older adults, mercury is a particular concern. Research has linked mercury exposure to cardiovascular issues. The exact mechanisms are still being studied, but we know that mercury can create oxidative stress in the body. Oxidative stress damages cells throughout your body, including the cells lining your blood vessels. Both the Environmental Protection Agency and the Food and Drug Administration have identified king mackerel as one of the fish that older adults should avoid. Their guidelines specifically mention king mackerel along with a few other fish we'll discuss shortly. Fish number 5, orange roughy. This fish has an interesting story. It lives in deep ocean waters, sometimes as deep as 3,000 feet below the surface. For most of human history, People didn't eat orange roughy because it was too difficult to catch. But in the 1970s and 1980s, fishing technology improved. Suddenly, orange roughy became available in seafood markets and restaurants. It was marketed as a mild white fish that appealed to many palates. Here's what most people didn't know at the time. Orange roughy are extraordinary long-lived fish. Scientists have documented orange roughy living more than 150 years. Some of the fish caught in the 1980s were born in the 1830s, during the presidency of Andrew Jackson. These fish don't reach reproductive maturity until they're about 30 years old. So when you eat orange roughy, you're almost certainly eating a fish that has spent decades, possibly more than a century, swimming in the ocean. Why does age matter? Because over decades, fish accumulate various compounds from their environment. Mercury, as we discussed, but also other elements that occur naturally, or as a result of human activity. When scientists have analyzed older orange roughy, they've found measurable levels of various metals in their tissues. This isn't unique to orange roughy. Any long-lived animal will accumulate more over time than a short-lived animal. It's simply a matter of exposure duration. The concern for heart health is cumulative. When you eat a fish that's lived for many decades, you're consuming the result of all those years of exposure. Your body then has to process whatever was in that fish. Some research has suggested that long-term exposure to certain metals may be associated with cardiovascular changes. The exact relationships are complex and still being studied, but many health authorities recommend that older adults, in particular, choose younger, smaller fish when possible. Fish number 4, 3, and 2. Swordfish, shark, tilefish. Now let's move through numbers 4, 3, and 2 together. These three fish share similar characteristics, so we can discuss them as a group. Number 4 is swordfish. Number 3 is shark. Number 2 is tilefish. Like king mackerel, these are all predatory fish. They're large. They're long-lived, and they sit at the top of their respective food chains. Swordfish can grow to over 1,000 pounds. They roam the world's oceans, feeding on a wide variety of smaller fish. A large swordfish has consumed countless meals over many years, and all of those meals contribute to its accumulated body burden. Shark is similar. Some shark species live for decades and eat almost anything they can catch. As apex predators, they have no natural enemies except humans. Everything they eat stays with them. Tilefish is less familiar to many people, but it deserves attention. Tilefish live on the ocean floor, often in the Gulf of Mexico. Bottom-dwelling fish can be exposed to different substances than open ocean fish. Research has shown that some tilefish contain higher measured levels of certain metals than many other fish. Health authorities have consistently advised that certain groups limit or avoid these fish. The reasons are well documented in the scientific literature. Now, you might wonder why this matters more after 50. There are a few reasons. First, your body has been processing whatever you've consumed for 5 decades or more. Your detoxification systems have been working continuously. Giving them extra challenges from highly accumulated substances adds to that workload. Second, as we age, our bodies become more susceptible to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like rust inside your body. It damages cells and contributes to many age-related conditions, including cardiovascular changes. Third, many people over 50 take medications. Some medications interact with various substances in complex ways that researchers are still understanding. The general principle is simple. Smaller, younger fish have had less time to accumulate whatever might be in their environment. Choosing these fish is a straightforward way to reduce your exposure to things you'd rather avoid. Fish number 1, eel. Number 1 on our list is eel. Eel has a long history in human cuisine. In some cultures, it's considered a delicacy. grilled eel, smoked eel in sushi restaurants. It has a distinctive flavor and texture that many people enjoy. But there are several important considerations with eel that you should know about. First, let's talk about where eels live. Most eels consumed in the United States spend at least part of their lives in rivers, lakes, and estuaries. These are environments that receive water from entire watersheds. Rain runs off land, through soil into streams, and eventually into the waters where eels live. This means that eels are exposed to whatever is in that entire watershed. Agricultural runoff, urban drainage, industrial areas upstream. All of it eventually makes its way to the water. Eels also have an interesting biological characteristic. Their skin is permeable. They absorb things directly from the water around them, not just from what they eat. This means they can accumulate substances from their environment through multiple pathways. Researchers who study aquatic environments have found that eels can contain measurable levels of various compounds. Studies in different parts of the world have documented this. The specific findings vary by location, but the pattern is consistent. Eels reflect whatever is in their environment. One study examined eels from multiple locations and found that most sites showed evidence of contamination from industrial sources. Another study found that eels contained various substances associated with human activities. The details differ, but the overall picture is similar wherever researchers look. Healthier fish options. Now that we've discussed fish you might want to avoid, let's talk about the good news. There are many excellent fish choices that are both safe and beneficial for heart health. Let's explore some of the best options. Wild salmon is often considered one of the best fish for heart health. It's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which research has consistently linked to cardiovascular benefits. Wild salmon also contains astaxanthin, a natural antioxidant that gives it that beautiful pink-red color. Sardines are tiny nutritional powerhouses. Because they're small and low on the food chain, they accumulate very little of whatever might be in their environment. They're also one of the few dietary sources of coenzyme Q10, which plays an important role in cellular energy production, including in heart cells. Anchovies are similar to sardines in many ways. Small, low on the food chain, rich in beneficial fats. They have a strong flavor, so a little goes a long way. They're excellent in salads, on pizzas, or mashed into sauces where they add depth without overwhelming fishiness. Cod is a mild white fish that appeals to almost everyone. It's lean, so it's not as rich in omega-3s as fatty fish like salmon. But it's an excellent source of high-quality protein and important minerals like selenium. Wild-caught versus farmed. Wild-caught or farmed, which is better? The answer, like many things in nutrition, is that it depends. Wild-caught fish live their entire lives in natural environments. They eat what fish have always eaten. They swim against currents, which develops firm flesh. Their diet creates a natural balance of nutrients that humans have consumed for thousands of years. Farmed fish live in controlled environments. They're fed prepared feed. They don't swim against currents. These differences affect their nutritional profile. Research has shown that wild salmon typically has a more favorable balance of fats compared to farmed salmon. The exact difference varies depending on what the farmed fish are fed. Some farms have improved their practices in recent years and now produce fish with better profiles. We've covered a lot of ground today. Let's take a moment to bring it all together. Number 7. Tilapia. Its fatty acid profile is less ideal than many other fish. Number 6. King mackerel. As a large predatory fish, it accumulates more over time. Number 5. Orange roughy. Exceptionally long-lived, which means more exposure time. Numbers 4, 3, and 2. Swordfish, shark, and tilefish. All large predators with similar considerations. Number 1. Eel. Living in rivers and estuaries, exposed to whatever drains into those waters. And the good news? Wonderful alternatives exist. Wild salmon, sardines, anchovies, Atlantic mackerel, cod, trout. These fish give you the benefits of seafood without the same concerns. If this video was helpful, please consider liking it. It really does help more people discover this information. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you as part of our community. Click subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos.